directors of Association of Anatolian Publishers and Broadcasters, esteemed members of press, distinguished guests, I would like to greet you all wholeheartedly and extend my best regards. Organized by the Association of Anatolian Publishers and Broadcasters, the 6th Anatolian Media Awards is now being held, and I would in advance like to congratulate all winners. More than 320 newspapers, TV stations, radio stations, or magazines and journals are under the roof of the Association of Anatolian Publishers and Broadcasters. Our association has been presenting a very decent, honored stance, and it reflects the real spirit of Turkish media, I believe. The late Ahmet Kekeç, the late Ferhat Koç, Ibrahim Toru, Makare Seyhan, like figures we unfortunately lost over the past years, are remembered with gratitude, and this is an example of loyalty to them and also an appreciation and kindness for their great work through this media awards. And I remember with gratitude all members of media who passed away. Free, responsible, and national media is the most important supporter of achieving a brighter future. Across the country, in all corners of the country, all those members of media who have been working very hard deserve special thanks. I would like to thank to them. Righteousness, laws, freedoms, and liberties are represented by the members of media, and I wish them all the best, each and every one of them. In particular, the brothers and sisters with whom we're here. I would like to thank to them for their contribution to the construction of a great and strong Turkey. Throughout our political life, we have always been in close contact with media, and hopefully we will have many more good news to share and many more mileage to cover. Distinguished friends, to nurture democracy and ensure it functions in a healthy way, Anatolian media has a vital role. Informing people timely and accurately, and ensuring that the administrators, the governors, can follow the needs and demands of our people accurately. Media has a very special spot. Democracy culture is indeed a manifestation of protecting the democracy culture. Generally speaking, media, and especially the Anatolian media, in this regard, should definitely be supported and encouraged. And of course, to execute all those missions deservedly, without making any compromises on ethics of the profession, it is necessary to deliver on one's duty in line with the culture of the country. If the Anatolia media continues with its operations and activities in this regard, it will not lose its power. On the contrary, it will increase its power. In an era when everything is becoming more and more digital, and when technology is advancing more and more, the last castle of reality of humanity will be this media, which works with such a perspective. The mindset that considers the death of 1 million people as a bare pieces of statistics or numbers is what we observe in an era. However, in such an era, you can present your difference by the way you reflect your perspective. The slanders with lies and heinousness is mixed for plots, and what would prevent these all will be your efforts. Taking its power from the humanity, the Anatolian media in this regard can look into the future as long as it develops itself with this perspective. I would like to once again reiterate one reality I firmly believe, I wholeheartedly believe, before you all. The pride of our media is not those who humiliate or look down on our nation, but are those who deem it the greatest honor to serve the nation. And of course, while speaking these all, indeed, we also express the discussions that have been brought to attention for over the 2 centuries here and then again. On one hand, out of discussions, there are administrations or governments who do not like the expression of certain things, and also on the other, media that is considered as the apparatus of some certain circles. Looking at the studies in media, the media in Europe and the US is different in terms of its emergence and its development. And the sharp difference is obviously seen with that. The Dardanelles War, the National War of Independence, the Cyprus Operation, anti-terrorism, and July the 15th, like periods where when some circles of media presented a stance of dignity and a principle, and their approach has been registered and has gone down in our history with pride and success. This goes the same for May 27 Yasada trials, tutelage, February 28th, or military coup periods. And those who stood with the coup makers but not with the nation has also gone down in history and written in the black books of history. Since 1960, our nation has never forgotten those executioners who disguise themselves as journalists but who stood with the coup makers. For the reputation of the country and their reputation, those members of media and journalists who put their lives at risk have never been forgotten by our nation, and our people. Fellow citizens will never forget such journalists and members of media with dignity. And I'm very pleased to be here with the members of media in this very venue. The last 2 centuries of Turkey has passed not only by way of seeking after development in media, but in all areas and very sharp trajectories. The last soil of our motherland, Anatolia, also was in danger. There were some who wanted to erase us from our lands of 1,000 years, and we encountered and endured attacks after attacks. However, we stood our ground, and we were never still left alone. Those who could not own our soil wanted to invade our souls and take away everything that is ours, and applied many methods within and outside the country. The single-party fascism, coups, tutelage, political, social, and economic crises indeed were the manifestations of this struggle in different eras. The fact that Turkey missed out on the industrial revolution and fell back in information, knowledge, and technology was related with those and their activities to isolate our country in all those fronts. However, this time they have encountered a new power standing in front of them. Now we have a country in which they cannot any longer give guidance to their policies. The democracy started movements started by the late Menderes and the late Özal has been brought to the highest levels over the past decades, and now we have a reality in Turkey, a country which defines its own decisions, makes its own decisions on its own. And in the field and at the table, they have now discovered and recognized the fact that Turkey does that on its own, challenging all the unfairness and persecution. Turkey now has become a rising image of hopes for the downtrodden and the oppression. Having completed its infrastructure development and with its goals of growth in development, production, investment, and employment, a country now do stand in front of their way in every step those people take. Not only that, but now we have a country which is on the rise, a country with a vision of 2023, 2053, and 2071. Let alone 30 years, but we in the past had a country which fell short to make estimates for the next couple of years, and those like you would know the meaning of that the best, how it was in the past. A country whose economy could collapse with certain speculations on a couple of billions of dollars. A country whose security would come at risk with a bunch of terrorists. A country whose industry was foreign extended dependent, and a country whose social fault lines were shaky. In summary, a country as such is still dreamt of by some people, and with this endeavor, they have been holding on to all opportunities and chances they can find to bring our country to such levels back again. But God willingly and with our nation's support, we have upset all such plans and plots put in front of us. By way of keeping our country on track for 2023 goals, we have frustrated all efforts efforts of those who wanted to waste our time. And beyond that, by transitioning into a historic administrative reform, the presidential system, we have made history. Many plots exhibited, displayed for the past 2 centuries, many times, have been exposed one by one. Democracy, the state of law, rule of law, and democracy. By some were manipulated, but their lie-smelling actions and words no longer work. Distinguished brothers and sisters, the selfishness of those who never care for the welfare of their nation, but their interests only, have now been disappointed, from the global climate change to the pandemic. In all the tests that concern the whole world, those who define themselves as developed have turned out to be very weak indeed. And in the face of all those challenges, we have distinguished ourselves with all the success we have achieved in all the tests we faced, and now everything has started to be restructured. And now on the path to construct a strong and great Turkey, the biggest stop is the verge of 2023. The global system Some do try their best to push our country outside the dimensions of the new system and bring the old Turkey back again. But hopefully they will again this time fail too. Right after a very long, lasting struggle, our nation did break a sweat and did put their lives at risk and on the lines. And the fact that they have done so is thanks to the perseverance and steadfastness they have had. And the support of the Anatolian publishers, Anatolian media, has always been felt along this process, and I believe we will see their support coming more strongly in the next eras to come. Do not forget, this is not a matter of Tayyip Erdoğan or his personal matter, and this is neither a political party related issue, nor a matter or an account of vicious circles. It is a matter, it is a symbol of the glorification of Turkey in 2023. 2071 is a redeclaring of the fact that Anatolia is truly owned by our country, our people. And 2053 will be the symbol, the will of us holding our visions high. And embracing all those visions is the responsibility of all authorities, institutions, and organizations in our country. And our responsibility, on the other hand, is to deliver on that task. Distinguished guests, the world is challenged by drought, climate change, migration, pandemics, economic crises, and many intertwined matters. And in such an era, we will not allow anybody to drag us into discussions of vicious circles. Turkey in the past paid hefty prices due to such discussions. We paid the price materially and spiritually. From education to health, from transportation to industry, from energy to sports. In all areas, over the past 19 years, we have adorned our country with a very strong infrastructure. Thanks to the perseverance, ambition, success, and willingness of our youth, we can see that obviously. And thanks to the strong infrastructure now we have entered into an era in which we can have a great and significant move of leaping forward. And I saw that in the eyes of our bright youth when we were in Kahramanmaraş a few days ago. And we should not be compromising on this climate of stability and prosperity in order to preserve all we have achieved so far. And the projects or dreams or programs, those who do not have any plans, programs, or projects, not even a single one, will not be allowed for them to try to reverse that trajectory we have now. And for that, we are in an era in which we can make use of our potential in the best way possible and hold on to what we have gained so far, and we should never compromise on our social stability and development. By holding tightly on our fraternity, our togetherness and unison, we need to be gearing our force, our power towards future. And tomorrow we will be going to the plant and organize a site visit for the nuclear power plant. And in 2023, we will see, hopefully, that the nuclear power plant will be operating. Our media organizations and media members have a lot of responsibility in such an historic era. By way of showing the reality, the truth to our people, they will contribute, you will contribute, I firmly believe, to the greater success of Turkey in the future. With all these thoughts in mind, again, I once again congratulate all friends or all colleagues and organizations who will receive the Anatolian Media Awards. And I would like to thank to the administrators of the Association of Anatolian Publishers and Broadcasters for having brought us together at this venue and for organizing this event. I would like to thank you all very much. Stay in health.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımıza konuşmalarından dolayı teşekkürlerimizi sunuyoruz efendim. Zatı devletlerinin yüksek müsaadeleriyle hediye ve plaket takdim töreni için bir süre daha sahnede misafir etmek arzusundayız.
Saygıdeğer konuklarımız, Anadolu Yayıncılar Derneği Başkanı Sayın Sinan Burhan, günün anısına Cumhurbaşkanımız Sayın Recep Tayyip Erdoğan'a hediye takdim edecektir. Arz ederim.